gate padasangate bodhi swaha. Om 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 gate padasangate bodhi swaha. I am the Emperor Ashoka, born in 304 BCE, 300 years before your Christ. I ruled the Mauryan Empire, what you now call India, as did my father and my grandfather, the legendary Chandragupta. I was number 100 of 101 sons. The only one smaller than me was my full-blood brother Ashoka. My other 99 brothers were older than me. They were born to queens more powerful than my mother, of higher status. Bindusara took my mother on a whim. She was considered too low caste to be a queen, so everyone at the palace shunned her. And they shunned me too, because I was born with this hideous skin condition. Whenever people looked on me, I could see the fear and disgust in their eyes. I could feel their revulsion, their desire to get away from me. None of my 99 brothers would have anything to do with me because of my face. They called me names. They said I was a curse from mother's sins performed in other lifetimes. They beat me with sticks when no one was looking. They pinched me. They never missed an opportunity to spit on me and to make cruel remarks. Except for my mother and Ashoka, I was alone. And I was lonely. I wanted friends. I wanted playmates. I wanted to be like other kids, laughing and wrestling and playing in the fields. But that was not meant for me. I vowed instead that I would become stronger than all of my evil brothers. I would triumph over them. They would rue the day they were so cruel to me. I practiced being cruel in my mind and heart. Practiced feeling nothing. The only other person who had a thought about me was my grandfather, Chandragupta. Sometimes he would take me on his knee and tell me I would grow up to be a great man. I didn't know what he was talking about. When I was only 5 years old, he took sannyasi. He gave up the kingdom to my father to become a monk. 12 years he spent meditating in a cave before he committed ritual suicide by starving himself to death. The day of his initiation ceremony, he threw away the sword that he had used to conquer all of India. It had been him who unified India. And I ran into the fields and I got that sword. It was my totem of power. I kept it under my bed always. I held it. I meditated on it. And I knew that I would grow strong and that there would come a day when people would not be cruel to me. I practiced all the arts of fighting. Sword play, martial arts, archery. I became a feared fighter. My face was now cruel as well as ugly, and my brothers left me alone. They were afraid of me. They were afraid of my sword. They were afraid of my heart. my father sent me to Ujjain to put down an uprising. I don't know whether he was sick of the sight of my face or he just thought I had the power to do it. When I arrived in Ujjain, the rebellion ceased. But I stayed there for 4 years. I took long walks alone in the jungle. I knew other humans didn't want to be with me. And one day, while I was walking in the forest, I came upon a little hut. And there was a man and his daughter there, living a simple life, meditating, praying, repeating mantras. They were Buddhists. The daughter's name was Sangamita. And when Sangamita looked at me, she was the first person in whose eyes I saw no trace of fear, no trace of disgust. Her eyes were clear, and they looked through to my soul, and I could feel that. I spent long afternoons with Sangamita and her father, and then one day I asked for her hand in marriage, and she consented to marry me. We had 2 children together. One day, I received a letter from one of the ministers in my father's kingdom, saying that he too was getting ready to pass along the kingdom and I should come home. So I rode back to the palace. I was not my father's chosen successor. Sashim was my father's chosen successor. But with the help of the ministers who had been there in my grandfather's time, who wanted me to rule, I overthrew Sashim and I closed the palace gates. And it took me 4 long, bloody years, but I killed every single last one of my 99 brothers. And then there was no one between me and succession to the throne. Meet Ashoka, he was mine. And then I filled with pride and arrogance. I had conquered my enemies who had tormented me when I was small and helpless. I knew power. I had a great torture chamber built for anyone who would cross my path. When I heard my concubines complaining about how loathsome it was to make love to me, to touch my curdled, flaky skin, I locked them in their chambers and burned them to death. All 1,000 of them. And I knew the mark that I would leave. I would do what my father had been unable to do, what my grandfather had been unable to do. I would conquer the kingdom of Kalinga, the last kingdom, not under our power. I would be the one. 5 years it took me to assemble my army. 10,000 war elephants, 50,000 horses, 100,000 foot soldiers. We raised a cloud of dust for miles when we marched across the plain to Kalinga. And then the battles began. Days and nights of slashing and killing and slashing and killing, and the screams of the elephants, and the screams of the dying horses, and the screams of the dying people, and I was soaked in blood from head to toe. All I could smell was the blood. All I could hear were the screams. It went on for days and days and weeks and weeks. And when it was over, it was a field of blood and bodies that stretched from horizon to horizon. And I walked amongst the dead bodies, and I felt a pain in my heart. Looking everywhere, all I could see was the destruction that I had wrought. For the first time, I felt remorse. And as I walked there, I saw a familiar figure out amongst the bodies. I knew that figure. It was Sangamita giving water to the wounded. And I ran to her. And the look in her eyes, those eyes that had always looked at me so clearly, the heartbreak in those eyes. And still she just handed me the water. And in that moment I vowed I would never, never, never hurt another living thing. I became a Buddhist. And I went home to rule my now even more giant kingdom. I thought I'd known trouble before. But 50 years, trying to rule my kingdom fairly, trying to mediate the petty disputes of men, planting gardens of herbs, of medical herbs for people and for animals, putting up giant pillars, telling the people of my ways, telling the people not to kill each other, to be kind to each other, creating transparency in the government. And every step of the way, my scheming ministers, trying to get a bigger portion of the kingdom for themselves. When I ended the killing of animals at the palace and made the entire menu there vegetarian for all of my thousands of retinue, I put it on a pillar. Everything I could think of that could be a message to the people of peace and love and hope, I put on a pillar. And God, there were so many times I wanted to quit ruling, to leave with Sangamita and take up the simple life of a monk. But every time I thought of it, visions of Kalinga would appear before my eyes. The thousands and thousands of bloody bodies that I left behind me would remind me that I had to go on my mission. And I would do something else, build another road, erect another stupa, pay for 4 more monks at the library at Nalanda. And finally, as I lay dying, I had a vision. I saw the Buddha, full of light, standing in the middle of the killing fields of Kalinga. And he was beckoning to me to come to him. And as I looked, all the bodies in Kalinga rose up and became Buddhists too. And my concubines appeared there as Buddhists. And my 99 brothers were there as well. And everyone was a shining Buddha. And then I too became a shining Buddha. And finally, my name, Ashoka, which means without pain and without sorrow, became true. And I knew that there was nothing to forgive and nothing to forget, no regrets to have, that every minute of my life had to happen the way that it had happened. There's only something to remember and to help everyone remember, our essential Buddha nature. Om Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, gone beyond gone. I salute this awakening.